How's it going, comic art fans? Is that how I usually start it?
I
I
think
don't
so.
know. Comics fans. Comics fans. How's it going, comics fans? We got YoKuri back to do another auction and market talk. And we're discussing what is this? March, April Heritage Signature Auction. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, but weak auction. Weak auction. There's one six-figure result in this whole auction as far as original art, and I feel like generally prices across the board were pretty weak. There's handful of strong, and the rest just a great auction if you have cash. What do you think, yo?
I totally agree. I think it was pretty weak, and I'm proud to say I didn't bid on a single thing. So
That's
good
that
discipline,
might be the craziest thing that's ever been on my YouTube channel.
possibly.
YoKuri did not bid on a single lot.
Yeah, yeah. What wasn't it fun having Troy on the show last
Oh
time?
yeah, yeah.
That was
Troy,
really cool.
it's good to get. I mean, you're an artist, so you have an artist eye, but it's also good to get. You
Get a
are
real
in this
artist.
thing, right? You are in the heat of
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
Troy's a little bit more detached, I guess, and he could look at it with more. I don't know if appreciation is the right word, but a more pure, a
yeah.
more pure appreciation, right?
And he's 10 times a better artist, so his eye is like 10 times better. So it's just interesting to hear what a real pro has to say about it. But I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think we should get some of our buddies on too, because yeah, I think we'd benefit from having different perspectives. But
yeah. I mean,
weak auction, no doubt, no doubt, weak auction. Yeah,
I think I think that's a good idea, and fingers crossed. Uh, for the June. So there's no heritage for April, May. End of June is the next heritage, which is a pretty decent break these days. Between big auctions, and fingers crossed, we'll have a big guest that um, knows what he's talking about on for that show with us. Um, so yeah,
yeah,
I don't want to jinx anything, so we'll see. We'll see
yeah,
what we.
yeah. We're just the kid brothers in this game, right?
Oh
We,
yeah,
we
yeah,
need to get our older brother on. So
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, we get into it. There's actually a few other things I wanted to talk about, topics I wanted to talk about, just OA market wise, beyond just individual results. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay. Um, First piece we got Buscema Palmer Avengers 83 1970 page with looks like we got Quicksilver, we got the Inhumans, we got a lot of people in here. Um, why'd you choose this,
I
yo?
chose it because I thought it was a beautiful page. I just liked. I love the Palmer inks. I love the Buscema paneling and action, and just a lot of fun. When I was growing up, though, the Avengers were kind of like the lame ass group, the lame ass book that nobody really, it was all about the X-Men back then.
Oh yeah,
But
it
because of the
feels like
movies, yeah,
Avengers were second class. I mean, I don't know, I don't know. How about early Avengers? I don't know how popular it was in the '60s or whatever, but um, yeah,
they just
eventually they became
threw a
kind of
bunch of
second class.
capes together, and the group would change sometimes, just see what would happen. But I just think it was a great page.
Yes,
So
actually, I I wish I had looked at this more closely. It's Big John Buscema. So many characters in here. Great action. Yeah, Tom Palmer inks them pretty well.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And at 16,800, I don't know. Is that expensive?
I have no idea. I honestly, I don't know this market that well. Yeah. You see my Palmer market, but I can look it up.
I mean, just thinking about this auction anyway, I feel like this probably is, fair value, maybe slightly lower than fair value. I mean, considering you got Scarlet Witch, you got this roll call of characters: Vision, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch doing her thing, Black Widow. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty great. You don't really see these pages come up that often, and I'm looking at the pages. This is actually, if you search for Buscema and Palmer, this is the I think it might be the third most expensive page. They just don't come up that often. So I think a lot of the other ones were from like 2018, something like that. So it wasn't actually a super weak price, but great page. Yeah. This is there were two covers ahead of there's a cover, a splash page for 53, cover from 2011. This was pretty full, but great page. And you don't see these come up a lot. You really don't, especially not one this good.
Oh yeah, it's pretty high, but I mean, we're looking at 2017 here for this one, which seems comparable, maybe, with that bottom tier. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is an under radar art.
Stealth strength. I just think this is like an A+.
It is.
It's pretty great. So I think it should be going for more than some of the other ones went in similar type of issue range and period. But just super.
Oh, here's this on the rooftop. I feel like they talked about this on one of the Felix podcasts.
Yeah.
How this was a shocking number for this title splash.
Yeah, not so shocking.
54,000 in 2014.
Not shocking. 9 years later, right?
Yeah,
pay the future price, and you'll never feel stupid, right?
Well, 9 years later, I don't know. What would this go for now?
Probably
it might be similar. I don't know. But it grew into it.
Yeah, it did. Cool.
Okay. So this is mine. First one, Eric Larson, DPS. Spidey battling Sinister Six. I think this specific page, there's a lot going on. I'm not huge on this Spidey image in particular. But you got, the villain roll call back here, right? Sinister Six. And, for me, nostalgia-wise, this was sweet spot. I didn't actually read this issue. I read 2 issues before this, and I love them. I love Larson on Spider-Man after McFarlane. And I had my eye on this. I actually had my eye on this. This and another piece that was just before this, like maybe 3 lots before this, that I won, that I had basically mentally similar range of price. And, I kind of preferred the one before, and, ended up winning that one. And so I couldn't bid on this one. And, ideally I'd grab a page from 21 or 22. So yeah, waiting on that. And, Larson, Spider-Man, is a hole that I would love to fill eventually, not urgently, but if the opportunity presents itself, and like this one would have been an opportunity, right? If I didn't win.
What's up with
Uh,
his arm on the right-hand side? I'm just one of
oh
the
yeah, so he got like beat up badly. So in this arc, right? He got beat
okay.
up badly, and he ended up having like these, cybernetic kind of like attachments added to like heal
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever. And so
Gotcha.
yeah, that's why I was on there and then healed, and
Yeah, it
then
looks like
now
Wolverine's forearm. It's all
yeah,
hairy,
now
I'm
it's just
thinking.
skin showing, right?
Yeah. Peter
Yeah, yeah,
Parker's usually a little more sleek.
yeah, yeah. Right.
Cool.
Yep. Revenge of the Sinister Six. Yeah, a lot of action in the story. There was a lot of like guest characters, Deathlock in there, and uh, Solo, Nova. Yeah, yeah. So
1992, I was in college and I was just drinking a lot of beer and
this was probably
not
towards
reading
the
comics
tail.
and definitely not reading my homework assignments.
Yes, I was right there with you about 5, 6 years later.
Yeah.
So same journey that I think many people go on.
Mhm.
But anyway, I thought it was, solid. The price wise, I thought it was a decent buy. And yeah, I mean, Larson market got really, really hot for a little bit, where something like this would have probably gone for 50 plus. And it's obviously come back down to earth, And is this still, you know, pretty expensive for Larson? I don't know. I think it would have been it's a good number.
Yep.
What do you think? 33.6 for Eric Larson, Spider-Man, double page splash.
Or a car. I think I'd rather have the car. It's
A
not my
shitty
era.
car. Yeah, I
It's not my
mean,
yeah.
you don't get a great car for this
You
price
you can
these
get a
days.
Subaru, couldn't you? Can you get a Subaru well made? No?
Actually, man, don't even get me started on Subaru, man.
Oh, okay.
Um, I rank Subaru drivers right there with Prius drivers as some of the worst drivers on the road.
Okay.
No offense to viewers that are either of those, but you know what? I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but some of the worst drivers that I've ever seen on the
Okay.
road.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the
the
fair
ones
enough.
that like a Subaru, probably Volvo. The ones that prioritize safety are
Mhm.
probably the worst drivers.
Right.
Okay,
Uh,
here we go. This is one of your favorite topics,
yeah. Yeah,
Jr.
no, this
Jr. Al Williamson, Daredevil.
and this was from such a cool issue. I mean, this was from the issue where, um, Daredevil gets the snot beat out of him, and then he's, like, hanging from the bridge, and then Mary picks him up. But I just remember these expansive double page spreads in in this series, in this storyline. Um, and I don't remember seeing it being done quite like this. The way that it's framed, the way that the figures are so large in the picture, with the inset panels. It definitely, they're when you're going through the story and you're reading it, they're definitely mind blowers. And I just think that the illustration is beautiful, and I love the 80s costuming. Apparently, you know, uh, JRJR would be taking inspiration from just being in New York City at
The
that
streets of
time.
New York City, huh?
Yeah, you got those like scrunchy boots. These are supposed to
Yeah.
be like it's like a tough gang. The punk haircut. The guy's got the curly mullet. You know,
Yeah.
the gloves with the cut off fingers. And the character design of Typhoid Mary is so cool. So I just think it's an awesome page. It's a little toned. I don't know if that matters to anybody really. But I just thought it was thought it was phenomenal, and you know, I'd love to have it, but you know, it's a lot of money. So
34.8.
yeah,
34.8.
yep. Hello, baby. Hello, love. Come to
So
mama.
slightly more expensive than our other
Yeah,
fighting DPS.
yeah, yeah. But this was in the 80s, so
Yeah.
you know, it's acceptable to me.
Nice dig at the 90s from YoKuri. See, that's how you know we're from different generations.
We're definitely, but we managed to get along. Oh, by the way, did the Warriors made the playoffs?
Did
Or are you
they? I don't
tuning
know.
in?
I don't
Oh,
follow
you
them.
didn't? Okay,
You know?
okay. Well, the Knicks
I'm
did. That's
wearing
why.
a Warriors hat, but I mean, I don't follow. I just assume they're going to do well. You know?
Yeah, I think they've been on a streak recently.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they make the playoffs? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they not that good?
They weren't that good earlier in the year, but I think they've been
Mhm.
pulling it together.
Here's what I'll say. I was you know, I used to watch basketball. These days I don't really watch basketball, not just because of the kids, but uh, it's devolved a lot. It's devolved into you know, a money making entity that you know prioritizes points and scoring and all that,
Yeah,
right? So because
yeah.
of that,
No, yeah. I mean, you could
yeah,
argue
because of
when
that
you
is
took away
you know
hand
there's just
checking.
no rules. There's no rules. There's actually there's no rules now. You know where
Yeah, you can
you
take
know
3 steps, you know, with the gather dribble. You
yeah
can, you know,
yeah.
they're not the
Even
defense isn't
beyond
allowed to
that, you
touch
know,
you.
there's no such thing as a pivot foot. You know, there's
Yeah,
no such thing as
exactly.
just carrying the ball, whatever. You know that I could go on or whatever, but for me, you know, I mean, in my you know, from my experience of it, it's just like now it's like it's just not watchable, you know.
Did you like the thug ball in the 90s, you know,
Oh
Riley
yeah,
Smith,
yeah. You,
all that?
I don't
Yeah,
mind the physical game. Yeah, yeah. I
physical,
mean,
yeah.
you grow up watching that. You know, I'm from just like you. I'm from the tri-state area, and so on MSG, you got the Knicks, and yeah,
Anthony
that's what was
Mason,
happening.
Charles Oakley. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly,
oh yeah.
exactly. Those guys were
Greg
brutal.
Anthony, you know.
Those guys were brutal.
Yeah. So not saying that was great, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
at least there was some fundamentals in play, you know. I don't know.
I still love it. I still love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a big
So
fan.
it just annoys me, you know. It just
Yeah.
annoys me, you know. Like
Okay.
and all these points records, you're gonna get a point record, but you know, you're doing it like with
Mhm.
different rules. Basically, it's just it's not the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So 34.8. Is that a good price, yo?
I
There
mean,
was
typhoid Mary
individual panel
pages,
pages going for this much or more.
the typhoid pages, they go big. They go strong.
261, 260. The other ones were all from like issue 261.
Yeah, that was a particular scene though where typhoid um Mary and the Kingpin
Yeah.
um fight before they have a romantic interlude,
Hmm.
which is it's pretty disgusting, tough to think about, but I
Well,
mean, that
48
was
grand for that. 48 grand for this.
yeah, yeah, no, but I mean, it's a very memorable scene. Like they fight and then they, you know, then they do their thing. So,
Yeah.
um, as far as things go these days, I'm sure it's not all that kinky. What did
Yeah. There's a
that one went
couple
for
of
37? That and that was sort of was billed incorrectly as first appearance. It's the first appearance issue. It's not the first appearance
okay.
in that. So if you care about that stuff, which I don't, um, you know, I just think it was mislabeled on the title, that 37. Yeah, scroll back down, that one, right? So for this one, you know, this page, which is pretty cool, you know, to go for a little less than that. You know, artistically, I like this page better, but
Seems like a decent deal. I mean, considering the Typhoid
maybe,
Mary
maybe, yeah,
market, yes. I mean, you got 3 pages all for 3 panel pages basically
Yeah.
all going for
With Kingpin.
yeah.
So there, I don't.
I mean, is Kingpin like that huge?
He's enormous. Sorry. Yeah. Dad joke.
And no, look, at this time, at these times, if this page came out,
Uh-huh.
there's no doubt it would be higher. So, I mean, in my mind,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Maybe somebody's got something. Maybe somebody is particular. If Kingpin and Typhoid, their relationship is really meaningful to them. Maybe.
Well, it's got to be multiple people. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, I mean, I think this is if you
Yeah.
just look at numbers, this is indicative of kind of the general,
Yeah. This Nocenti run doesn't get enough credit. I mean, it's just the best. I
Yeah, I
have.
think I don't know why they don't collect this into whatever.
Yeah, they do. It's like it's out of print and
Yeah.
costs a lot on eBay.
Okay.
The best.
Tim Sale,
Timmy.
Captain America White, DPS right here. Red Skull,
Wow.
Bucky.
Yep.
You got Cap. Cap's a little smaller,
Uh-huh.
A great perspective on this scene.
Is that where he fell? What is it? Is that the Eiffel Tower, or what's going on? I don't know.
7,800, yo.
Yep.
And this stuff was hot. Okay, this stuff was hot. There was a DPS. This is like the auction right after Sale passed away.
Oh yeah, those went for big prices. Yeah,
20 grand. It might have been this one. Yeah. Or there's a couple. There was a couple Captain America White.
Yep.
I guess it was this one.
They put too many Tim Sale pieces in this auction. I think it might have been like 7 or 8 pieces in this auction. They didn't do the consigners any favors by the way that they
I mean, there's been a massive amount of Tim Sale in every auction for the last I don't know how many auctions. And this auction is when you see like ridiculous fatigue. And if those prior prices were legit at all, then a bunch of people got screaming deals on some decent, really good pages. This one included a splash that was, I think, like 6,000 or less. Yeah, but it's clearly there's some Tim Sale.
Yeah.
Fatigue.
I think it's a cool composition. I would have liked it a little better if the tower was a little lighter in tone and there's a little more contrast on the skull to make it pop a little more. But yeah, no, it's really cool, especially if you like the Red Skull and Bucky and Captain America. But who would if that's your thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting effect, the lighting on Red Skull.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's just I would have liked it a little, like under the armpit or something like that. Just make it look a little blacker, a little darker. Because instead, like the tower is what stands out instead of the figure.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something that they can fix in post. I don't know what the printed page looked like, when it was all colored up and everything.
Yeah, good deal. Another decent deal. If you're after this.
Yep.
If you're a fan of Sale, especially if you're a fan of Captain America.
I never read that. Was it a good book?
I haven't read this one either. Yeah. So.
You can probably pass my time, right? 2016. Yeah, it's like in my gap.
Is this your gap?
My Rip Van Winkle period. Yeah. my Rip Van. I got probably like reading maybe 2017, 18, reading comics again.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So then you got back into art.
Yeah.
pretty quickly
Yep.
after reading comics.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right.
Yeah, another good, like, just weak prices, man. All right, here we go. This one wasn't weak.
Not weak at all, right? And
This
I'm just
one
trying
was
to
not
figure out
weak.
why. I mean, they've got
57.6.
they've got Flame On, they've got all
Flame
four
on, big.
characters,
Well,
right?
everyone's on the page. Okay, so 57.6. I was blown away by this number. Why? There was another page just before this. Let me pull up that page here. Let me see if I can pull up that page. Just before this, not quite as good. And also not inked by Joe Sinnott, inked by Chick Stone. Okay. See where it is here. Here we go. So we got another page here, 12.6, okay? Earlier issue. Chick Stone is the inker. You also got a Flame On here, okay?
Ah, maybe he was a Flame On collector.
Yeah, maybe. And then you got
stranger things to collect, I guess.
You're missing the Thing, right? You're missing the Thing, but it's mostly Human Torch in action.
Yeah, I mean, Sinnott's the guy. I mean, let's
yeah, Sinnott is highly preferred, right?
Right, but I will say that a lot of those, like maybe a page without everybody on it, you can probably get a Sinnott page that doesn't have everything you'd ever want for maybe 10 or 20.
I don't mind Chick Stone at all, man. I don't mind Chick Stone at all. I don't mind like Frank Giacoya at all. Obviously, Joe Sinnott is the one that's the one that's known. I don't know, maybe like Mike Boyer's, pretty up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say he does ink him better than anybody else. And it's more highly prized by the market. But we've seen these pages. I'm just looking back at them. I mean, some pretty great pages over the last several years go sort of $10,000 to $30,000, right? But maybe it's just the fact that all maybe it's this all four of them are in it with a Flame On. But if you're really a fan of the art, you could have had four of those by Kirby and Sinnott for the same price. But I guess some people are just highly driven by the characters and perhaps the content.
Is it that logical? Is that the thought process?
I think so.
Or can it just be, hey, there's people with money coming into auction and they want an example, right? And you say, okay, these are the Kirby pages that are available, and I'm coming out with one, right? You got maybe two guys, maybe three, and they all want the number one. They don't want to settle for the number 2 or 3, right? Yep. And so they step up to bat, right? And then their egos just say, hey, you know what? I got enough money. I'm going to walk away with this.
It could be. It could
which
be.
Is why you see. Which is why you see the. I mean, I wouldn't call this the best of the best, right? But if you say there's 3 Kirby pages in the auction, 3 twice up Kirby pages in the auction, then this one is the best of them, potentially, right? And they go, okay, let's go for it,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that that's my reasoning, right? Of why you might have multiple examples of something these days in an auction, right?
Mhm.
Where there's a lot of weak bidders, right? Which is why the auction didn't do so well, right? But there are also a handful of people that aren't impacted, right, by whatever the market, um, their current, economic situation, whatever it may be, right? And they go aggressively after certain things, let's say, right? And so you say, I want the best of the best that's available here, let's say Kirby, then you get this kind of result. And then you have, on the flip side, everyone's still weak. This one went before that piece. And so they didn't want to waste their time with this. They had their eyes set on the one. And so this is reflective of how generally weak the OA market is now. But there are still, a handful of strong buyers, right? But they're not going to buy every single thing, and they're not going to bid on every single thing. I don't know. That's my reasoning,
My opinion is that there's some, when I talk to some dealers or when I talk to some more experienced collectors, a lot of times it's just like a sort of a checklist formula. It's like you've got Reed, you've got the Thing, you've got Sue, you've got Johnny, and Johnny's doing Flame On, and it's not any more and it's Kirby Sinnott, and it's just sort of boom, 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 boom checklist. This is how it's going to be valued. The artistic merit of this page. I mean, I've seen some beautiful Inhumans pages, over the last 2-3 years that have a lot more artistic merit than this one. I mean, this one's it's a pretty page, no doubt. It's the classic combination. It's got all the characters, but I do feel there was an element of checklisting going on here where it just checked all the boxes, had everything that people wanted. It's not necessarily like a big battle scene or anything like that, but all those things being said, I think it went high. I think it went high.
That's true. That it's exactly true in certain, as far as a checklist. But then how does that turn into that price, right?
Yeah. And part of the reason why I picked this is because it went higher than a Frank Miller Dark Knight page. So that was part of the reasoning for choosing this.
Maybe it's because we'll get to that later, but it could be because it's a Fantastic Four page with all the Fantastic Four on it.
Yeah, and those top two panels are fucking awesome. I mean, if you like Johnny, that's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great image. Yeah, with the flame on. This panel right here, right? Yep. Then you got beautiful, Sue Storm, like Cynic.
You got the beehive. She's using her force field to hold her hair in place.
Yeah.
How does
the facial? The faces are fantastic.
Well, yeah,
fantastically inked.
Of course they are. And then, but how does Reed Richards break his arm? I mean, he's supposed to be made out of rubber. This page is just getting dumb. It started out so strong, and now it's just getting dumb.
Let's break it down, man. Right?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic, stretchable with a broken arm for 57.6.
I don't know.
Look, I mean, there's obviously clearly people with a lot of money, right, that decide I'm going to get something, right? And, maybe they're not looking. Look, if you could get a better page than this now out of auction, right?
Yeah.
For less than this, way less than this price.
I mean,
right? that has all of these components.
Well, maybe not all four of them with the flame on. Maybe this is the first appearance of Sue's Beehive. I don't know, but it was a very strong price, and we can move on from it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's a good conversation topic because it's just like when you're talking about efficiency in a market, or
Yeah.
rational
I
versus
mean, but just,
irrational. This is just like that, man.
I'd rather have the second one versus the first one,
You'd rather have the second one,
early yeah,
especially at
early
the same
Jack,
price. But
early
would you
Jack.
rather have it at 4x the price, right?
Yeah, I would pass on both.
Yeah.
So,
All
I'm very
right.
cheap right now. I'm being very stingy. I'm holding on to
Yeah.
my pinching my pennies.
Well, you got to be selective to add to the museum quality. So
Or maybe it's as a result of not being very selective over the prior 3 months. I don't know.
you've been pretty selective.
I've been
I mean,
selective, but just active, just too
yeah,
active.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you've been active, but you've been selective.
Yeah, I think so. I like to think so.
Yeah. So this is just a head scratcher. Head scratcher. I guess leave a comment. Leave a comment on what you think the
Mhm.
dynamics of this result is, right? Compared to, let's say, the earlier page. Um, yeah, I'm not sure, but I have to assume it's a couple people with a lot of money that don't look at anything other than heritage, and then decided to start whacking at each other. All right, Ron Friends, ASM
Nice.
256, Black Suit Spidey. So we're like 4 issues in to ASM with Black Suit Spidey for less than 10 grand. Black Cat up in here. Um, you know, not the greatest Spidey images, but I felt like this was pretty cheap considering it's Black Suit Spidey and Black Cat, in action. So yeah, I mean 9600 early, Black Suit Spidey, actiony page. Um, I was looking at this until I got, I mean, but I had higher priorities later on down the line.
Mhm.
But when this went, I was like, oh man, this feels pretty cheap for what you're getting.
I guess. I don't know the Friends market. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun page.
I mean, I don't either. Not like I follow it, but I'm pretty sure it's strengthened since Black Suit Secret Wars Black Suit Spidey went for 3+ million.
Yeah.
Um, and oh here, um, you know, 252, the first appearance of the Black Suit, 100 grand a year ago,
Hmm.
almost exactly a year ago. Um, this one, the back of Spidey, same issue, I think,
Yeah.
256.
Big
Uh,
splash, but better
yeah,
image. Yeah.
30 grand.
Yeah.
But it's just like the back of them.
Title, what is it? Title page. That's cool though. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 30 grand. I don't know. You know, I don't know. It seemed pretty decent. Like, oh, 10 grand for this, right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
early Black Suit Spidey. If you're a Spidey fan, if you're like a pretty big Spidey fan, you like the black suit, this probably was a great opportunity for you to pick one of these up and be pretty happy, I think. Right, Andy? We're
Yeah.
not like Spidey collectors, but
No, I remember Black Suit Spidey, when it came out, and it was exciting.
it'll never not be cool. Black Suit Spidey
Definitely.
will never not be cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a very reasonable price, for what you're getting, and I wonder who won it. Hopefully it's someone maybe we know that's a Spidey fan. But like,
Mhm.
if you collect Spidey and you let this go for less than 10 grand, man, I would call it a blown opportunity.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, so DKR, very memorable scene in the book where the mutant leader meets with the feckless mayor and then like rips his head off, basically.
Yeah.
And that's a
Idiot mayor.
great panel with Gordon with the gun.
Oh, this one's great.
I
Yeah.
see something I'll take to my grave. Some idiot stops me from doing the obvious thing.
Yeah.
And there's a stat, whatever, but 50K for a Dark Knight
Unimportant.
page, and a pretty memorable moment. I mean, Batman's not on it, if you want to.
I call it a key moment, I mean, not like key, but it's like,
Yeah,
anyone that read the book remembers this, right?
yeah, yeah. And if you're a Carrie fan, you got
You
Carrie
got Carrie
Compton.
in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, but I just thought it was interesting. So you can either have a Dark
50
Knight.
grand, 50 grand. I bid 50. I bid that amount and I lost. How is that possible? But it's because there was a prior bid source internet bidder. So there was a proxy bid. I bid. The limit on the proxy bid was this 42 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And then and so if I wanted it, I had to beat 42 grand. Once I bid 42 grand, the prior bid took over. Then if I wanted, I could have cut bid or whatever, but I didn't. And then and at that moment, it didn't click with me that it was, I bid at 42 grand and there was a prior at 42 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, if it clicked, I probably would have cut bid the next bid.
Yeah. But I think a lot of, I mean, it's too bad that, I know the guy who got it, and I think he's quite happy with it.
Hey, he should be ecstatic that he won this crap with a proxy bid.
Yeah.
And when you say internet bid, that means he put in a number before the live auction even opened, and he won it with that number, right? He didn't have to click a single button to win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're a Miller fan, if you're a Dark Knight fan, I think just a fantastic buy at this price, and less than that Senate, Clarity Senate FF page. The pages that there aren't for a book that's about Batman, there really aren't that many pages with Batman in it that isn't in silhouette. If you look at if you actually count the number of pages, and then you count the number of pages that aren't in Dave Mandel's collection.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting a Batman page for less than six figures now.
Oh, I mean, 200. It's over 200. For a page with Batman on it.
Depends on the auction, I think.
It depends on the auction, but yeah, this was definitely a weak result given how strong that market's been. But if you look at the number of pages out there that have Batman, and then most people, if they own maybe they own one page, right? So how are you going to get it out of them? I mean, it's going to take a lot of doing, and they could have sold them already, for big prices. So it's still a super tight market, but this was just one that definitely slipped through, because I think some people are like, okay, well, if I'm going to get a Dark Knight page, I'm going to pay that much money, like better have Batman on it, right? So
it looks like another Dark Knight page in June.
Yeah, I think it's like a Superman page or something like that coming up.
Okay, well, they can go for well into six figures.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll see how strong the market is. The market is soft. People are.
I mean, you got to say it's soft. You got to say it's soft if this goes for 50 grand with a proxy internet bid win.
Definitely.
Granted, he got pushed to his maximum whatever proxy bid, and maybe he would have continued to bid. But I mean, I always feel like at Heritage, if you don't get into the live bidding where that internet bid hasn't been exhausted, then it's probably a weak result, because who's going to put way over max, right, as their ahead of time bid.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, let me just put in 50, let me just put in 42 grand before the auction, and like, oh crap, that was enough. That's what happened here, right?
Right. Or, oh shit, that was a thrill bid. I was hoping someone would bid more so I didn't have to actually buy it. Yeah.
I hope not, man.
Which
But
just happened to me before.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
Oh.
I don't know if I would ever thrill bid, but I've never thrill bid. I probably will never thrill bid, but I mean, if you wanted it and you just put in this number, expecting to eventually have to, bid up to,
Mhm.
I don't know, 70 something, like you would be going nuts. Like, oh my God, that was enough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, pretty super. Great result for the owner.
Oh yeah. Great
I mean,
result for
not the prior owner.
for the consigner.
The
Huge
consigner.
disappointment. Okay, huge disappointment for the consigner. Okay,
That motherfucker probably threw his laptop,
you're
and
crying,
now
man. You got to be crying.
he needs another $2,000. He's out another 2,000 to buy a new laptop. So
You got to be crying, man. After that,
yeah,
he is like, shocked.
so
Yeah,
pissed.
Yeah.
So pissed.
Okay, another one. I am pissed. I am pissed about this one. Love and Rockets #2. Jaime's first, feature story. Um, should have been, I don't know, maybe not double this, but into the five figures, and that's what I expected to happen. I actually won freaking piece like a lot or two before this that eliminated me from this, and I was in like an interview, doing an interview with another YouTube channel, and so I won the piece like before this, and then I didn't watch this. I just assumed it would be into five figures, and there was no extra bidding, basically. Almost no extra bidding to win this thing.
Yeah.
And whoever got this, like, huge congrats. Fantastic page, from the second issue of Love and Rockets for a steal. You paid half price,
100% total steal. Love this
freaking
page.
ridiculous, man.
It's great. Yeah.
This
And
one
love
was
this
freaking
period.
ridiculous.
Yeah, love this period. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie is in every panel, okay, except the last one. Look at this posing right here, holding back, ran race, bumping her head here,
Yeah, pretty
silhouette
great.
here,
Yeah, and you've got the journal entry, which
yes,
that story is pretty
not overly wordy,
Yep.
The only bad thing might be some of the the marker stuff here,
Mm-hmm.
that's fading, but
it doesn't show that poorly though. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Freaking steal, man! Jealous of this person, man.
Yeah,
If
congrats to whoever got it.
I did not
awesome.
win the other one, I would have won this one. I guarantee, and man, I look at this, I'm like, whoever won this, man, got a great deal on a classic Love and Rockets page by the greatest modern cartoonist. You should have won this, yo. You could have won this. You could have won this.
Could have been somebody. It could have been me. It could have been me. Yeah. Or we could have dueled, and would have.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what would have happened? If they got pushed, it might have hit that price. But the fact that no one pushed them is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
Make offer to owner. This is where it should have gone, maybe. All right. Giant size X-Men #1.
So I just wanted to, select a bunch of things kind of around the same price of $50,000 that if you wanted to spend that much money on a piece of paper, an old brown piece of paper, you could have,
Actually,
but
I have an exercise for us at the end of this regarding exactly that. So
yeah,
it's cool because there were so many pieces that ended at the same price in this auction, right? Like at various
yeah,
price levels where you could just, it's easy to compare.
hmm
Um, like this is what you could have gotten,
yeah.
for this.
Well, I just think that, well, not me, because I'm, yeah, but yeah, no, I just think that 70, and the prior two had gone for like 70 and 100, arguably better pages, from this issue, but it's giant size X-Men one, right? If you know X-Men, it's a big issue, it's a big deal, and
How much do you know how much giant size X-Men 1 is going for these days?
oh, the comic itself.
Yeah,
I don't know.
let
It
me
would
see.
probably one of my coworkers, he told me this story, this awful story, where he like took some money from his parents. This is like back like a long time ago. And he really wanted Giant Size X-Men 1, so he bought a copy of it, and I think it was like $200 he paid for
Mm.
something like that. So then his grandma caught him and like pulled him by the ear back to the comic shop, made him return it.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now if it was a 9.8, it'd be $72,000. Thanks a
This
lot,
is,
Grandma.
I mean, and this is
That was
2 years ago.
2021.
I mean, it could be less now. I mean, the
Yeah,
this
no, it
might be
could
the
be.
peak of the comic slab market.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might be sitting around here, 50 grand, So you're saying 9.8, 9.8 giant size X-Men 1
Mhm.
or this page from Giant Size X-Men 1.
I'll take the page. I'll take
You
the
take the
page.
page.
Take the page.
I'll take the page. I'll take the
Yeah.
page over the comic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not you know,
Not a big Cyclops fan.
I mean, I think this
Who
is a
is?
very cool Cyclops
He's
image,
like
you
the
know?
dick of Cyclops is like the dick of the group, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People
But
likes him.
yeah, I mean, I was
Yeah.
never a huge Cockrum reader or fan, but
Yeah. No, it's a pretty
um
cool page. I think I
yeah.
thought a pretty decent price for what it is.
It's a historic piece of art, yes. Like
Yeah, for
in the
sure.
sense that, it's Giant Size X-Men 1.
Yeah.
And there are pages from it available.
Yeah. And if this guy's grandma hadn't made him return it, maybe he could have sold that issue and bought this page. So thanks a lot,
Mm,
Grandma.
mm.
You s-
I mean,
no
here,
vision. No
just a
vision.
Nightcrawler page went for 102 a couple
Yeah,
years back.
that's a better page. That's really cool. And then
Um, Here,
that's a better page too. That's pretty dope. That's
this
78.
one was
Yeah.
really good and
Yeah.
pretty cheap relative to the Nightcrawler page. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that the Nightcrawler was the second page. It was like the second page, so maybe
Is there
the
an early
earlier
page?
pages are worth more. I don't know. I don't
I
know
don't
how you
think
guys
so, man.
think. I have no idea how these people think, but
I mean, you got the whole team on this.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
Anyway, thought it was cool.
piece of history.
Yep.
Okay, I want to put this in. Johnny Craig, War Against Crime, complete story. 1949, 9 pager, $7,800. Okay, less than 1,000 a page
Oh, I like
for
how he drew the C there. That's really cool,
for a
actually.
complete EC story.
Yeah.
For a freaking complete EC story, And I was like, I know Johnny Craig is probably not like the biggest EC guy out of like artist out of all those back in those days.
Mhm.
But you're getting a 9 page. This, I mean, if you're a dealer, this is just free money, right? If you're just buying or whatever, it's just like so cheap for 74-year-old EC art, a complete story, right?
Mhm.
I don't know what to say. I just had to put it in there because I was just stunned by the result,
Yeah.
and beautiful like brushwork and I think the art is great. Just OG crime story,
Mhm. Man, he really went off
Evil.
on the water. That splash is pretty cool.
Yeah. Very Alex Raymondy,
Pretty cool.
right? I mean, this is the kind of thing where like, just like if you have a lot of money, a lot of ammunition, like why not buy this? This is the deal, ridiculous deal just on your lap, and I'm not saying just to buy it to flip it or whatever. I mean, you could, you could at this price, but you're also getting, uh, EC complete story, for under 10 grand, for under $1,000 a page. I mean, when is that going to happen? It's not going to happen. It just happened here, like like, is it going to happen again? Not after this, probably,
Yeah.
because no one looks at this and goes, oh, maybe EC is overvalued. And so, right. And they're going to cut their prices or people are going to stop bidding. They're just going to go, oh, we screwed up on not picking this up, and next time another one comes up, it's not going to be anywhere near this price.
Yeah, well, let's just hope it keeps going down, right? If you're a buyer, if you're truly a buyer, if you truly collect this stuff because you love it, this is what you want to happen. You want prices to go down. You want people to get discouraged. If you're
Okay, let's talk about that.
you really love it and you want to own it, you shouldn't be rooting for prices to go up. You should be rooting for prices to go down. But
Yes.
most people, have art and they want it to go up. But I would like it to go down.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be great. Yeah, if we could pick up, Dark Knight pages for $500, that'll be amazing. So
yeah. So what do you think? Do you think this? So are you thinking is this the beginning of a near-term trend?
yes, 100%. I mean, it's been, if you would look at what's happened with all the excess savings that was built up in the pandemic, it's starting to decline. Credit card debt went down a ton and now it's back to where it was pre-pandemic. So all of these things have been reversed, and you have liquidity draining out of the system. You've got M2 declining for the first time in multi years. I mean, there are a lot of economic reasons why, interest rates going up. So the cost of carry for owning an asset like this that doesn't provide any yield is going up. So, people, stocks are down, like housing values. I mean, they probably should be going down given the cost of financing. So people, and then you've got all of these tech companies laying people off, right? So I think there are a number of reasons why that froth should come off of the market, and I wouldn't be disappointed to see it go, even if it hurts the value of what I hold. I'd like to. I mean, maybe given where prices were, you're not going to see anybody bring out really great art into this environment, right? So it'll just be more like secondary pieces that come out, because if you don't
I
think you're
mean,
going
but
to get a good price for it, you don't. If
the
you can afford to
secondary
hold it, which you
stuff,
probably could, you don't list it. So
the secondary stuff is what's going to get hit hard. Clearly, let's say. I mean, just look at that Kirby example, that Kirby FF example. Because it seems to me if you have A+ stuff, you don't have to worry, right? If it's A+, some big shot is going to want the crap out of it, or
Yeah.
multiple people is going to want
Multiple
to grab
people will want
that.
it, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's why you pay for the A.
yeah. But if it's not A plus, there's a chance
Mm-hmm.
you just don't have the bidders. You don't have the demand, and I mean, my observation of and is just is not objective, or it's not scientific at all. But there's a lot of people selling, and not just at auction, but on CAF, everywhere, eBay, wherever it may be. There's a ton of people unloading, and there's not a ton of people buying.
Yeah,
Uh,
I sent a consignment to Heritage 10 weeks ago, and it still hasn't been registered. They must just be um, sitting under a mountain of
mm,
art, waiting to get processed.
yeah,
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
we will see. And there's some more topics I want to get to, regarding that here.
Okay.
But we'll do it after this.
Yeah.
Daredevil 179, Miller, your boy Miller.
Yeah. So I just threw this up there just to, I mean, Daredevil's in costume, in this, and he's carrying that weight pretty well. I'm impressed. But
43,000 for this page.
yeah, it seemed like a lot. I'll
It
be
is a
honest.
lot. I
It
mean,
seemed like a lot for this page.
yeah.
And then I picked another. I think there was another Miller.
I didn't put that one in, but
Okay.
the
Yeah, there was like an
Electra
Electra page
Mhm.
that was like 36 or something
Yeah.
like that. So I just thought that, the spread versus Dark Knight and Daredevil compressed a little bit in this auction. I mean, mainly because of what that Dark Knight page was, but it was just interesting to me.
I mean, it's not like this is a mind-blowing Daredevil page, other than having Daredevil on it,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's pretty.
Whereas that Dark Knight page didn't have Batman on it.
Yeah,
I think it was a better page, the Dark Knight page, as a page of narrative art, right? From
yeah,
from a
100%.
important book
Yeah,
was a better page than this page. Not nominally better. Which is like it's not $7,000 better. It was way better to me.
yeah, and it's
Um,
Daredevil like screwing around with the mayor and some of his goons, and
yeah,
who do you think's going to win that fight, right?
I don't know. I mean, we saw for a while Jim Lee art was like through the roof. Okay, it
Mhm.
was so hot, and then it cooled down. It got soft as hell.
Hmm.
And Miller, I think we can say the same. So then, since then, Miller's stuff got extremely hot. Sin City, Daredevil, Dark Knight, um, and
Yeah,
I think that Dark Knight page was a crack in that Miller market, and it's not unreasonable to expect Miller to get soft over the next, I don't know, year. Because
yeah. I'm
maybe
not
the
100%. I
Miller
don't know if I
that need
100%
Miller,
agree with that,
got
Jason. That was the lower end of quality DKR page, but
it's a DKR page.
it's a
It's not like
DKR page. It
yeah,
should
yeah,
have been
it's like
higher. It should have been
it's
higher. Yeah,
right. It's a DKR page.
right. And
It's
here
not
we
like
are. We're
they
pointing
come
at
up
two
every auction.
examples where Daredevil was strong. So I mean, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll
That's
see
what I'm
what happens.
saying. I mean, it's still strong here. It's
Yeah,
still Daredevil's still strong here. I'm not saying Miller's weak, but
yeah,
there's a lot of Miller that's been coming on, and it has been hot as hell. There's zero weakness, right?
yeah. Like
And
those Wolverine pages were crazy.
yeah, everything,
Absolutely
everything,
crazy.
everything Miller, okay,
Yeah,
has
but those were
been
A's. Those
through
were
the
A's.
roof, okay,
Yeah.
and there's going to be more Miller, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm just
Mhm.
I'm saying keep an eye out. Okay, keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Jim Lee. Look, it was hot as hell. And and it's come back down to earth. That's for sure. Okay. And so I'm not saying I'm not comparing Miller to Jim Lee. I know you're offended to hear
No, I'm
you
not. I'm
you
not
are
offended. I'm
the
just
great Frank
expressing.
Miller, mentioned in the
I'm
same
just
breath
expressing my
as Jim
opinion that
Lee.
I think there are plenty of indications of strength. That you know.
So we'll
Anyway,
see.
moving on.
Look,
Moving on.
my prediction. Keep an eye out for that. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know
Okay.
if it'll
We'll see.
happen. Who knows if it'll happen? But
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, it might happen. All right, John Byrne. Here's what I want to get to as far as conversation. This is a Marvel Comics present page with She-Hulk, Byrne, She-Hulk, and Doctor Doom. Great Doctor Doom, great She-Hulk images. 13-2. It's a great page.
It's phenomenal. Yeah,
Uh,
that was one of the ones that I was, when when I was flipping through looking through the auction, really stood out to me as being pretty awesome. She
I mean,
punches Doctor Doom
Byrne
in the
She-Hulk
face.
is just like aesthetically extremely pleasing to me. I don't know.
You like them big and green, huh?
Yeah. And I put this in, not just because I like Byrne She-Hulk,
Because
but
yes, like
there is like a ridiculous amount of John Byrne. There was a ridiculous amount of John Byrne in this auction, and a ton of John Byrne just coming up right now, just for sale. Okay. Um, and I don't know what that's going to do to prices. Obviously, it probably will depress John Byrne prices, right? Outside of like the A++ stuff, right? But we've seen Byrne X-Men pages come up on eBay. Two of them come up on eBay. Like a ton of pages in this auction. A bunch of pages pop up with a dealer recently on consignment. Um, and people probably like, oh yeah, this is a lot of Byrne, you know, and maybe get a decent deal. Okay, but what it got me thinking about, is let's say the OG collectors start unloading. Okay, I'm not talking about Byrne, I'm talking about Kirby, whatever, Silver Age. Okay, like all of that art that's been locked up for a long time in collections because they're retiring or whatever. Okay. Um, will we even know until it's over, right? That it's happening, right? Or like, are you going to sit there and go, hey, okay, like these guys are unloading right now. Maybe it's a good time to just buy and just swallow all this up, or um, you know, you just watch it kind of pass you by at, maybe not like rock bottom prices, but decent prices, and then it's like past. I don't know. I'm trying to think about, like, we've heard about like what happens when people age out of this hobby. Um, I feel like it will be easy because heritage, let's say, or those older collectors, they'll spread it out. They'll spread it out between different sources over, like, some period of time. While it's happening, how confident are you that you will recognize that it's happening, right?
yeah, I mean this page in particular, this would be like if I owned Byrne She-Hulk, this would be one of the last pages I would ever sell. Right. So maybe, maybe it's a situation where, sadly this collector passed away or something like that. I just don't know why
It could
you
be, or it could be he's just,
I
hey, it's
just
time
don't
to
know why
sell.
you'd sell this one, like there are plenty, there would be dozens of other ones that I would sell before I'd sell this.
I mean, the fact is, I mean, it could all be a coincidence, okay? But where I'm coming from is there was those Burn UXM pages. There's a bunch of Burn. Somebody's selling a lot of Burn, okay? Somebody's selling a lot of Burn, you know.
A year or
Eventually,
so
somebody
ago, though,
will sell a lot of
somebody
Kirby.
sold like was selling like complete issues of Fantastic Four, right? Burn Fantastic. Remember when they were coming up? They'd have like they'd
Okay,
sell a
yeah.
whole issue in a single auction. I don't know we'll know it. I mean, I don't know that we're plugged in enough. We're just a couple of minnows in this big ocean, with
Yeah,
all of
I mean, it's
these
less
these
about
sharks and these whales floating
it's less
around, and
about being the point I'm making is less about being plugged in, but kind of
100-year-old sea turtles. I mean, just
when some of these big collectors, 60, 70 plus years old, right, are
oh
aging out and it's time for them to sell. Let's say they
yeah,
pass away, or they're like, hey, I need raise some cash for my grandkids or whatever. Um, how well will the OA market realize, right? Right? Because you could keep bidding or whatever, like, or you could say, you know what, like, I could come away with, so and so much of this art or whatever, right? But like, I feel like it'll be easy to see it all come through and then end up with nothing, end up with nothing. And then it'll be like the wave of selling will be over, Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to like think about what that dynamic's going to look like, right? If
yeah.
there's ever a flood of it's not necessarily Burn, it could be,
Hmm.
Kirby, right? And so because they're not going to announce it, they're not going to I would you'd be stupid to announce like, you know, this big huge Kirby collector is, selling all of this Kirby, Um I don't know,
Yeah, yeah, I think it'll be really tough. I think it'll be really tough to see. I mean, I just think that um, even in the midst of a wave of all that stuff being sold, the most historically significant stuff, the ones that are tied to important issues, I think those will continue to have high value. But then there may be stuff that's more, nostalgia driven versus I just think that if you're going to pay this much for stuff, it better be exceptional, right? And you better be willing to have it go down, because those demographic concerns are real. You don't want to get strip arted, right? If you're buying this stuff, I mean, but in the strip art, the stuff that's the most historically significant, the highest quality, the A stuff, still commands good prices. So
Yeah, I mean,
so
at a certain point, the historically recognized, respected masters will continue to be so, I feel like,
yeah.
as long as there is a comics
Hmm.
medium, right? Some of them fall by the wayside, but I mean, if you're talking about like, uh, you know, Kirby, right? Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty clearly established. Like, he is like the king, right? And
Yeah.
so, regardless if it's not an A plus example, it's still, let's say, Kirby FF, or whatever, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm just, all this burn just got me thinking. Once there will eventually be some time where a bunch of people are blowing out their collections, and they
Yeah.
will be concentrated on certain artists, and
Yep.
so I don't know how obvious is it going to be,
Yeah.
that's happening, or
I
like
mean,
that I should be picking stuff up here.
yeah. I mean, I'll say this: if I'm 65 years old, if I'm 70 years old, 75 years old, I mean, I'm just looking like 20, 25 years into the future. There are some pages I'm just not selling. Like I'll
Yeah,
basically take them to the grave, and so there may be more of a yeah, because honestly, whoever's holding this stuff, if they haven't sold by now, do they really need to sell for their retirement or anything like that? No. So So it could go on for longer than people think, based on just looking at the, oh well, you should be retiring when you're 65, and um, maybe you're selling in advance of that. You're starting. I mean, maybe people start to trim, right? But the truly great ones, the ones that I look at and just fill my heart with joy, like this one would, if it were in my collection. I mean, like
Yeah.
I don't think I'm not a seller of those. I mean, I've got plenty of, maybe B or C stuff that I could sell before I'd sell my favorite pages.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm learning a lot about my, collecting, only what my entering my 6th year of collecting, recently, I found, okay, I'm consolidating more now, where like I'll buy big pieces and sell off a lot of smaller pieces, that I really liked,
Mhm.
but it's kind of just like, okay, we're making a 25 for one, or 20 for one trade, um, who knows if that's a good decision or whatever, but it's just kind of like, okay, well, this is something that I want, and then I don't want to maybe put new money in anymore, or as much new money as I have, right? That it required to build my collection. Now can I, maybe kick out, lower, end pieces from my collection to fund,
Mhm.
you know, bigger pieces that I really want. So
Yeah, I think we're like the same age in this hobby pretty much.
yeah.
I think you started a little faster than I did, to your credit.
Oh, you turned on the jets, sorry.
I did turn
Okay.
on the jet. I
You
did turn
truly
on the
turned on the
jets.
jets, those
I got I
you know
definitely I did some catching up, but I
you're
wish I'd
like
been.
Jamaica in the relay race, you have Usain Bolt in the freaking,
No,
last
but I
leg.
was started out. I was buying like, $100, 150, $200 panel pages, and then when I'd go on Heritage, I mean, there were just so many cool things. So I'd go purely on aesthetics, whether or not I'd read the book or not. So as a result, I just ended up buying a lot of stuff that, didn't necessarily fit, what appeals to me now. And now I think I've been lucky enough to be able to pick up some key vintage pieces. So like a lot of my vintage buying is kind of done, right? I mean, like I kind of checked off the pieces that I wanted to get. So that's why, like this auction, I mean, maybe I wasn't as active as
Okay, let's get to
I might have
that.
been in
I
the
mean,
past. Yeah.
thinking about the auction, I mean, it's quite surprising you didn't bid on anything, because you are always looking at stuff, you know, at all ranges. Okay, right,
Yeah.
from the like 3 figure to 5 6 figure potentially. Okay, and so did things just not suit your taste in this auction? Nothing stood out to you, or is it just like, hey, maybe you've acquired a bunch of things on your checklist recently, right? That you feel at least temporarily full, and
Yeah, no, I think it was a little bit of both.
mm,
Some of the stuff didn't necessarily suit my eye. There were things that I really liked, but I'm thinking one and done on a lot of artists, right? So I have a really nice Ramita Junior Williamson page. So do I really want to spend that much money on that double page spread, even though it's fantastic?
yeah,
I mean, I have a page I really like, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so why should I do that? It'd have to be something that, I'm just not going to buy multiples of stuff at these kind of prices. It's just not, now that I think I've got what I want. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it's just the sort of the stage that I'm at right now with my collecting, and I think it's a natural evolution. So
Well,
it's
you collect both, vintage stuff, like high price vintage stuff, and modern stuff, like just
yeah,
come out modern,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, how do you, let's say, balance?
I think it's really important to, if when you're collecting, to write down a mission statement. So, I have a mission statement and it's on my calf, and it basically saying like, look, I'm collecting vintage stuff from the 80s, and I'm collecting stuff from people that I think are modern masters, and they have to be from books that I really love, that I really loved enjoying reading. So yeah, like that Alex Ross is really pretty. That Travis cover is gorgeous. Um, but I didn't read those books. They don't really mean anything to me. If people are more aesthetics driven, then they might collect that, but it's not part of my mission statement. So I think I've really been scaling back what I've been buying, and I kind of came to the conclusion like, look, I don't want to own multiples of these things at these big prices. So I'm
So,
okay with just having one like key
would
example.
would you say would you say your checklist comprises more like title slash issue, as opposed to an example of, let's say, artist, right? Like, I want a great Alex Ross example. Could be Kingdom Come, could be Marvels, or let's with you, like Miller, or is it more like I want something from Dark Knight, I want something from Daredevil Miller run.
I wanted from the storylines that I loved.
Yeah,
So like 300, I'm not all that much into. So like I'm not going after that stuff. It's really
yeah,
just from the books that I loved.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or like Ramita Jr. and Williamson. It's specifically that Nocenti store, that Nocenti run,
yeah,
that I love. But Amazing Spider-Man, maybe same artist or whatever, but not interested.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So that maybe it's like an artificial way to narrow, because otherwise you could end up buying, wanting to buy everything, right? And I don't want the hobby to get out of control for me in that way. Um, but then things come along, and you get surprised. So I just want to leave room for that, and it's been a pretty active start to the year, where I was able to check off some things that I really wanted. So maybe I'm just taking a breather.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, okay, one last thing I want to leave with. You brought it up earlier, but I noticed 43,200, bunch of quality pieces fell at that number. Okay, or it's all subjective, but look to be like very solid pieces. We had Rob Liefeld, New Mutants 91, big cabled image, 1990, 43.2. We had your boy Frank Miller's Daredevil 179 page, pumping weights, um, at 43.2. Silver Surfer Judgment Day. So Buscema, doing Surfer and Mephisto. Huge splash, 43.2. J. Scott Campbell, Gen 13, Cheesecake, splash,
Yeah.
43.2.
No thanks.
Kirby, Marvel double feature.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, if
it's
you like the Red
fantastic.
Skull and Captain America.
Montage cover, okay?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think this is not Verpurten. I think it's Giacoya, but I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Great price for
Jim
a
Lee
Kirby.
Hush, great image of Catwoman, Harley
Mhm.
Quinn, Batman in there. Just you know, Jim Lee right here. Jim Lee Scott Williams right here from a major Batman story. Sin City. All of them are DPSs, so it's the same thing, but 300. Okay, 43.2. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can pick. Let's say let's time travel or whatever. Take out value from the equation. Okay, and you could buy any of these couple $1,000. Okay, which do you choose? I'm sure you
Oh,
choose probably this one.
I can tell you what I can rule out. I can rule out anything from the 90s. So Gen 13, we can get rid of that one. We can get rid of cable. I mean,
I gotta blow
that's
this
if
one
I
up for
liked
you.
cable, if I like that stuff, yeah, man, like, no, no, not my thing. Not for me.
Huh? J. Scott Campbell right here.
Nah, not for me. I'll
Oh
pass.
man, we got some bondage here.
That's
43.2.
that's yeah, just basically everything that was wrong with that decade.
Between I know between when Gen 13 was announced and when it actually came out, it took many
Uh-huh.
years. It feels like
Right.
I
Yeah.
I I was like
So,
deep into comics to out of comics by the time it actually ended up coming
yeah,
out.
pretty hard pass on that.
So no cable, no Gen 13.
Yeah, I mean, if I was into cable, if I was a '90s guy, the cable thing might be pretty cool. Um, mm, yeah, I never read Hush, I'm embarrassed to say.
Oh man.
Yeah, um, I don't know, I think what were the other choices? I mean, it would be between that Kirby cover and, between the Kirby cover and, I didn't really like the Daredevil thing, so yeah, I don't know, that's tough. It's tough because there's a lot of things that just really aren't my thing, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, let's say
Just purely based on the art, Mary
objectively, would you say that they're all solid pieces, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's some serious fanhood for all of the pieces,
Yeah.
right? Right? Be it a freaking huge cable New Mutants page by Liefeld, Miller Daredevil, Buscema doing Silver Surfer and
Yeah.
Mephisto.
I'd say the Kirby cover with the trade dress and everything, I think that looks really cool. Um, yeah, I think that one, and I love the Red Skull, so
Okay, that makes me feel good. you know, I mean, I thought they're
yeah.
all great, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, not like I had a choice in the sense of like, um, did I know they were all going to be going for 43 too, but I had my eye on this Kirby cover. Late, second run Kirby on at Marvel, after he came back from DC, uh, doing Cap, but doing a montage. He's the creator of Captain America with Joe Simon. You got them both signing the cover. Uh, lots of the characters, from his stories in here, Bucky, Sharon Carter, Red Skull, Cap in action. Yeah, won the page. I won this one. Got a real nice Kirby. And yeah, if I had to do it over again, knowing that they all went for the same and I would have gotten it for the same. If I could, let's say I could trade the Kirby for any of these, I would keep the Kirby. I'm keep the Kirby, even if you want to trade for any of these. As big of a Jim Lee guy as I am, too.
Yeah.
right?
I think that cover, if you frame it, it'll look great on your wall. I think that'd
Oh
be
yeah,
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think as I've collected art, as I've read more comics, Kirby, my esteem for Kirby grows and grows, continues to grow. So not that he was like perfect all the time, but um, yeah, I mean, my respect and appreciation of his art and imagery uh, only continues to grow. And you know what? I've been after a nice 300 page, and
Mhm.
this was in the mix. I was looking at it, but I probably wouldn't have gone, this far for this,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't trade it for this cover either.
Mhm.
So
Super cool. Good man,
yeah.
Jason.
So maybe one day I'll join you in the Frank Miller Club with a 300 EPS. I don't know. And
Uh,
maybe my earlier commentary was wishful thinking as far as Miller softness.
yeah, no, I don't know. I think
Hey,
I would love
that's
to see the whole market come down and get soft. So
yeah, that's my hopeful prediction. Who knows if it'll happen? Who knows what June will look like, right? Because I mean, any
yeah,
objective viewer, I think, of this auction would say, in general, it's just like way weaker than things have been. And
yeah.
so I don't know. Let's like this Plug. Oh, this Plug Ghost Rider. I think I seen it on CAF.
Hmm.
It was pumped by some people, I think, for some reason. By the first appearance
Oh,
pump group, but
I'll forget that, man. That's
40 grand. I don't
yeah,
know
no, no
if how
thanks.
that compares.
No
Oh no,
thanks.
this went for 50 grand
Yeah,
in a year ago, and then it just auctioned for 40 grand. Okay,
right.
that's where I've
Yeah,
seen.
no thanks. I'll pass.
So example right here. A year
Yeah.
later, flip. Um, 20% off. But if you consigned it, you know probably more than that, right? You probably lost
Yeah, I think there was another example of another one that was
20
like sort
grand.
of a very recent flip where the consigner got totally hosed. Something they bought like a year or two ago. I think maybe our the next guest on the show on your show, he mentioned it to me, so he'll remember which one it was. But
Okay.
like, somebody just got like wrecked. I mean, like basically lost like 60% in like a year or two.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming that they paid max commission, to Heritage.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So good example of 7 pages that are all pretty quality pages.
Mhm.
Which one would you guys choose? If you could just have one, someone's going to give you a page. Let's say you could just choose. Which one would you choose for that for this value, equivalent value, right? Um,
Yeah, and I knew that Jason, I knew that we talked about it obviously that you'd gotten the cover, and I was trying so hard to choose a different one.
I
Just to
don't know. I mean,
just to pull your chain, just to spite you, but I
yeah,
really do think that out of all of those, like that is genuinely the one that I would choose, not just because I'm your friend and I want to make you feel better and all that, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I feel like it's a great example, and I mean, they're all. This is a great Hush example. Is
yeah, I mean,
solid
if it
example.
was a
There's
Captain
probably
America cover, it'd be like, 250, $300,000.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's a
yeah, and
reprint,
I'm
but
not. I can't.
it's still cool, man. It's still cool. It's still drawn by the man and great, kind of a cool composition on the cover. And I love the Red Skull. So, the Red
I'm
Skull for
not in the
me.
mix. I'm not in the mix for Silver Age twice up Kirby covers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I could get great image, even if it's from the 70s,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
you know, can't complain, man. Can't
Yeah.
complain. It's
I
Kirby.
think they look great on your wall.
Yeah, I still think it's a piece of history,
Yeah.
and just like all of these are. Maybe not the Gen 13. That's not quite as much history as the rest. Uh, the Gen 13, number 16 bondage is not quite, what I would call, historic.
Yeah. Well, so there's quite a duel there, you know. Somebody had to
But,
undergo
the
that, so
300 page, Hush page,
yeah.
Buscema, Silver Surfer, Mephisto, Splash, Miller Daredevil, early Cable,
Yeah, if that's your thing, that's pretty
this is a
cool.
great this is a
Yeah,
great page,
it's a very cool page.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
So yeah, I'm sure depending on when you grew up, you got different viewers that would choose a different page. Let us know. Leave a comment. Leave a comment on my taste and Yo's taste, and let us know what you would choose between these 7 pages. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Week auction. Uh, Lots of auctions been weak, and we have a little break. We will see what June brings. Um, but yeah, I'm curious, and so
Yeah, I feel like that there've been auctions, but there've been, like, auctions in between the auctions, right? And it just feels like it's been very active calendar. So,
yeah, I
we'll see
mean
if piecing the stuff out, helps a little bit.
the
You know,
Comic Link
maybe
stuff,
narrow
the Comic Connect, the weeklies. I mean, the Heritage weeklies have been getting good stuff too. There's been a
yeah.
lot of good stuff in there, but they have not been doing, I think up to what they could have,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
just a ton of constant supply, not just at auction, but on in
Mhm.
the classifieds. Like, I'm signed up for the CAF for sale, whatever alert, and like that thing just blows up. It's just nonstop, classifieds, right?
Mhm.
And there's some decent stuff in there, but I feel like, hey, people are just unloading. Everyone is if everyone is trying to raise cash, you know, obviously the prices are going to reflect that in a sense, and so even
Mhm.
me, like, I put up a lot of stuff especially after this buy for sale, and some of it moved, like the real good stuff moved, but a lot of it just sat there and just very little interest, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I sold a few, then I had to just uh, send a bunch to Heritage, and so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't take a bath on it. I think I sent a few decent things, but yeah, I mean, that's the state of my buying is sell to buy, trade,
Mhm.
essentially trade, and so um,
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. In but 100% no matter what, just gotta love it. You gotta love the stuff
oh
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta love it.
And it's tough. It's tough as it's easier if you're just a vintage collector because you know really what you want. But for us, because we collect so much modern stuff, it's like sometimes you don't know what's going to pop up, and yeah, it's cheaper, but it's just endless supply there too, of just
Yeah.
quality books, and so and you make a mistake, buying some of that, because for me, sometimes I get high on a book, and then like as time passes, I find like, oh, it was good, but I felt more strongly about it at the time, than I
Mhm.
do, a couple years later, and so,
Yeah.
but I know when that's going to happen. Like, I know, oh, this is like a top book for me, like top two of the year, right? And so that's
Mhm.
kind of one of the guidelines I've given myself now is like, only buy it if the modern stuff, if it's one of your top artists or like it's one of the top two things I read or I'm going to read this year,
Yeah.
and that way I
Yeah.
can artificially kind of limit myself, from just buying, left and right? Because
Yeah, I think
it's
if
tough,
you have
man.
a mission statement, and you stick to it, you'll be happier. You feel less disgusted with yourself all the time. Like I feel disgusted with myself when I make a purchase that is kind of outside of my range. I'm just so disappointed.
There are some things, yeah, where I'm disgusted with myself too, right? Where like you kind of like I'm just nuts, and
What the hell? Like, why did I do that? Yeah.
we egg each other on, but yeah, I mean, this hobby is so sick. It's so crazy because of the constant temptation, and like, just recently someone just like was forced to sell a bunch of their Cerebus, and like for me, I never read Cerebus, and I have no plans to read Cerebus, but it looks good. I mean, like some of the Gerhardt stuff looks really great, and I usually put in like a weekly order to in stock trades to buy books, and today I almost bought the first two volumes of Cerebus. It's like, just to get the read in, and then like there's like one
Yeah.
piece left, one or two pieces left, but one's like really nice, and we were talking about that one, and then I'm like, whatever. I don't need to be buying anything right now. I really don't need to be buying anything, and so so I didn't end up ordering the two Cerebus books. I ordered like something else, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was that close. The sickness is so crazy, just to like see,
You would have been disappointed with the first book is really almost not worth getting. It's really
Yeah,
before his art had evolved when he was kind of more of a Barry Smith Conan clone.
yeah,
But as his art evolved, as his storytelling, like the story he was telling evolved. I mean, high society, church and state, Jaka's story, all that
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff is great. Though that's like
Yeah, I
the
put them all on
sweet
my
spot
wish list.
for
Like
fun.
there's
Yeah,
soft cover remastered edition, right? Of
yeah,
all those arcs. And I almost bought the first one and the High Society one.
yeah.
Um,
The first one would have been disappointing because it's pretty
yeah, yeah,
crude, but he's learning, and it's kind of cool to see him learn and level up. And there's still some interesting stories in there.
yeah,
But he hits his stride, and then after that, he kind of goes off the deep end.
yeah,
And to me, the stories weren't as compelling, and I stopped reading it. But there's that sweet spot when it was really really good. So if you want to take a shot at it again, that's what I would recommend you read.
yeah, yeah. No, you told me, but it was more like to give myself an excuse to make an offer on this one piece that we both looked at.
We've all
And,
done that. We've all like seen the art and then like read
yeah,
the book to see if we should buy it.
and then just kind of, you know, uh, I just got a hold of my, rationality, and I'm just like, what am I doing? It's stupid. I
Yeah,
just spent, 40 something grand on this Kirby cover, and I shipped stuff off to Heritage to pay for it. And now I'm gonna also buy like this, you know, aesthetically pleasing thing that I've never read, or I'm just gonna read it just to have an excuse to buy this thing. It's just like
yeah,
so crazy this hobby. And yes, that speaks to having the mission statement, right? Like you
mhm,
said, because that stops you from from doing those kind of impulsy decisions,
yeah. Sort of schmucky moments, just
Yeah, it's all about like
just
impulse.
avoid
Really, it's
being.
about impulse control,
Yeah.
and
Ugh. And
when
if you
you
have friends in this hobby, they're not helpful. They don't help.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
help because you
yeah,
talk about this stuff and just makes you think about it even more. So
yeah. I mean, I find for the most part when I'm sending stuff off, um, it's the impulse buys that I'm sending off,
mhm.
and should I rather just save that and not make those impulse buys? Yeah, but at the moment you're making the impulse buy, you're rationalizing why it's not an impulse buy, um, so yeah.
Not healthy. Not healthy.
uh, Well, it's a journey. It's a journey of
Yep.
self-discovery, and like we
Mhm.
only do it because we appreciate this stuff, and
Yeah.
so
I just hope I'm not getting into props now. That's the last thing I need. I just bought a Blade Runner replica gun.
that's I don't have to worry about that. I will
Yeah,
never. I have zero compulsion to.
yeah.
I listen to the whatever stuff dreams are made of
Oh,
podcast.
it's a
I
great
listen to
pod.
every episode. It's cool from a collecting standpoint, but
Mhm.
none of the stuff they talk about on there do I like even consider. It's just like
Yeah.
I do not give a crap. Okay, so
All right, man.
thanks for
Nice
coming
talking to
on,
you, man.
Great
Yeah,
talking again.
always.
Um, let's survive to the next auction and
Yes.
read more comic books. That'll help.
Yes.
And fingers crossed, we'll have a you know big guest on for the next auction and market talk. Maybe he'll school us.
Oh,
And
he'll definitely we know nothing compared
yeah,
to
yeah.
this guy. So
Yeah. And so, and
he's
we
like,
could ask him some real good questions, get hopefully get deep into where he's at today,
mhm.
He's a pretty big collector. And so, yeah. So tune in next time. Leave a comment, okay? Leave a comment. Let me know which of these 7 pieces you are choosing. If you can just have one. All right? I would love to know what the demographic for my viewers is. So thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks. Good
Bye.
night, guys.